that Nigerian and South African multinational corporations are making substantial inroads into Senegal, disrupting the long-standing monopolies held by French companies. For decades, French firms have maintained a tight grip on various sectors across former colonies in the region, with prices for goods and services often set in Paris, leaving little room for competition and economic autonomy. This entrenched dominance has had a profound impact on the daily lives of millions. In some countries, banks charge exorbitant fees for issuing a bank account statement, while crucial services are deliberately kept out of reach for the general population. However, this status quo is beginning to change as Nigerian and South African multinational corporations step into the fray, offering competition that promises to break the stranglehold of French companies. The entry of Nigerian business magnates and multinational corporations, such as the United Bank for Africa, UBA, and Oranto Petroleum, marks a new era of economic competition in Senegal. UBA, a leading Pan-African financial institution, has been at the forefront of this movement. The bank's delegation, led by Tony Elumelu, recently visited Senegal to congratulate the newly elected president and pledge their support for the country's economic transformation. "We first came to congratulate the President of the Republic," Elumelu said. "Secondly, we came to express our pride as the UBA group to see that we have a long-standing customer at the head of this great country. We want to work with his government to help the economic development of Senegal." Elumelu's words underscore the deepening ties between Nigerian entrepreneurs and Senegal. He emphasized UBA's commitment to doubling its efforts to support Senegal's development, particularly in the strategic oil sector and youth empowerment. In the crucial oil and gas sector, Nigerian company Oranto Petroleum is also making its mark, competing directly with Western companies that have historically dominated this industry. Oranto's involvement is helping to ensure that the sector is not monopolized, promoting a more competitive environment that works in the best interest of the Senegalese people. Oranto's entry into the Senegalese oil and gas market is a strategic move that aligns with the broader goals of the new administration to diversify the economy and reduce dependence on a few foreign players. By fostering competition, Oranto is contributing to a sector that not only drives economic growth, but also ensures that the benefits of Senegal's natural resources are more widely shared among its citizens. Meanwhile, South African companies have also been making significant strides in Senegal, despite facing regulatory obstacles that many believe are influenced by French interests.
We are indebted to the Senegalese government and its people for standing with us and for making our struggle their struggle, even though our two countries are so many kilometers apart from each other. The objective of this visit was to consolidate the bilateral relations between South Africa and Senegal, and also to reflect on the progress that we have made since our relations started.
Already, 11 established South African companies operate in Senegal, bringing with them expertise and investment that challenge the traditional dominance of French firms. These companies are diversifying the economic landscape and providing much-needed competition in sectors that were once monopolized.
We have signed a number of memoranda of understanding as well as agreements. These include a memorandum of understanding on political and diplomatic consultations, on agreement on a joint commission for bilateral cooperation, and an agreement on scientific, technical, economic cooperation in the field of fisheries as well as aquaculture. This visit has been an opportunity to explore deepening relations across the spectrum of our respective national priorities.
Nigerian billionaires and corporations are stepping up to support this vision, recognizing the potential for mutual benefit. This wave of economic competition is not confined to Senegal alone. African multinational businesses are also entering markets in other West African countries like Burkina Faso, where French companies have traditionally held monopolistic control. The arrival of these new players signals a broader shift in the region's economic dynamics. Over the coming years, more African companies are expected to challenge the dominance of French firms, promoting healthier competition and fostering economic environments that better serve the interests of local populations. The collaboration between Senegal's government and Nigerian South African corporations could pave the way for a more competitive and diversified economy, reducing the country's reliance on French companies. By challenging the monopolistic practices that have kept prices high and essential services out of reach for many, Nigerian and South African businesses are helping to create a more inclusive and dynamic economic environment. In addition to supporting Senegal's oil sector, Nigerian billionaires are also investing in the country's future by empowering its youth.
To date, over 20,000 young men and women from across Africa have received over $100 million in support of their program. We are happy that what we started alone as Tony Elumelu Foundation, we have been able to identify and partner with other global institutions.
The Tony Elumelu Foundation, founded by Elumelu, has already supported over 200 young Senegalese entrepreneurs, and plans are underway to expand this support under the new administration. As a leader loved and admired not only by young Senegalese people, but by African youth as a whole, the Tony Elumelu Foundation is proud and happy to be able to support him, Elumelu stated. We want the youth of this great nation to flourish. Senegal will see that under the leadership of His Excellency, the President, the country will benefit from more support in terms of economic empowerment within the framework of the group's program as well as the foundation. In line with the broader goal of economic transformation, the launch of a new initiative aimed at upgrading the energy efficiency of public administration buildings in Senegal. This initiative is expected to reduce the country's energy bill and introduce new sustainable practices that could serve as a model for other sectors. The move toward energy efficiency is part of a broader effort to modernize Senegal's infrastructure and create a more sustainable and resilient economy. By reducing reliance on costly and inefficient energy sources, Senegal can free up resources for investment in other critical areas such as education, healthcare, and entrepreneurship. The growing presence of Nigerian and South African multinational corporations in Senegal marks a turning point in the country's economic history. By challenging the long-standing monopolies of French companies, these businesses are helping to create a more competitive and inclusive economy that benefits all Senegalese citizens. With the support of visionary leaders like the newly elected president and the commitment of partners and South African companies, Senegal is poised to embark on a new era of economic transformation that promises to unlock the full potential of this vibrant nation.